There is a concern among Democrats that the vote for Trump is hardening within the black community. It's solidifying. It's not just a passing fancy. And I think Democrats, both black and white, liberals, they're panicking. Some of the reasons why blacks, particularly black men, are drawn to Trump is that he puts America first. He puts Americans first. Joe Biden and his administration, they're now in this battle with the state of Texas to cut down the barbed wire. We, ladies and gentlemen, have essentially an invasion of our country going on.
Agreed.
Black people are waking up.
What are your thoughts on the communities, black communities' support of Trump? Black men seem like they're leading the wave when it comes to supporting Trump. And, I guess the lack of support that still remains, from black women when it comes to, supporting, Donald Trump's, hopefully potentially or hopefully new administration come, 2025.
Well, the country is divided, and the country has been divided for a long time. And this division to me feels like what happens when you get a pimple. You can feel the pimple underneath the skin before it ever shows. And as the pimple begins to grow and mature, it eventually breaks the skin and the pimple becomes visible on top of the face. That seems to be a fair description of what is happening to sort of the black support for Trump, but even broader than Trump would be for a more conservative ideology anyways, an outward sort of expression and profession of an ideology anyways. Definitely that's happening. What we're seeing in the black community sort of mirrors the fissure that's happening in the broader, larger society. And what seems to be happening is we're breaking up into two groups. And basically the two groups of people are no longer race specific. And the two groups of people are white and black people who believe that the government should be doing more, and white and black people who believe that the government should leave them alone and be doing a lot less. The people, white and black, who want more are liberal. The people, white and black, who want less are conservative or lean conservative, whatever those gradations are going to be, but that's sort of how the lines are dividing. And so what's fascinating is you're finding white and black liberals having far more in common with each other in terms of their shared values than you're finding black liberals and black conservatives based solely on race. So in fact, race is becoming far less important in the black community, which is the most fascinating thing that's happening to me. And because the country is so splintered, black people are having to be forced to define their values and sort of pick their team. And it's interesting to me, so I'll get to the men-women thing. It is definitely now a divide between black men and black women. I think for black men, which I am not, I'm not, and I also don't identify. However you slice it, the answer to that is no. So what's happening is that there's becoming a divide between black men and black women. And I think for black men, which again, I am not, I do not identify as on any metric, just put me down as a no. So what I can say in that division, I think the attraction for black men for Trump is that Trump is, for better or for worse, and maybe and for better and for worse, Trump is unapologetically masculine. And I think that black men who are attached to their own masculinity, who, like white men, have seen the war on masculinity and have seen the denigration on masculinity and have seen a world being engineered and constructed in such a way that men who rely on the ability to take risk, the ability to succeed in competition, all of those things that are unique to men, where men can be successful, and the society benefits when men are successful at being men in those ways, go away. And society say, go over in the corner, put baby in the corner. Somebody did put baby in the corner. Go into the corner and stand over there because we no longer have any use for you. And if you are a man And you see that. And then you see this man in Donald Trump who's out here unapologetically masculine. And I don't mean in a conscious way, I just mean in his being, taking slings, taking arrows, and not falling. I think that you have Black men, part of their attraction is they have an empathy for him. And they have an empathy for the attack because they think that that attack, although not exactly the same, is similar to what they are facing. And I think that that's going to be a very powerful thing in terms of how Black men are going to move over the next 5 to 10 years, not just in their voting, but it'll be exemplified in their voting. But again, like everything else, there are other subordinate behaviors that also come with that. So those same Black men may also want to become more entrepreneurial. Those same Black men may want to have a more stable family structure. There are going to be ripple effects in all of that. Now we get to the Black woman. Here's where the interesting thing comes. If that's true, and if the Black man does move along that trajectory, then the question is, what happens to the Black woman? Because the Black woman is the most dedicated demographic voter for the Democrats, but more importantly, also the most adherent to liberal ideas, along with the white woman, but most adherent to liberal ideas. So the question is, if the Black man is going to do that, who will he be able to do that with? Now, if you think about it, they say, and I believe this is true, that the largest employer of Black women is government.
It is. Yeah.
How is it that Black women are going to be want to have any interest in voting against the entity that is their primary source of income? And not over income, also esteem. Like you said earlier, they are putting Black women in positions of leadership, in positions of power. And I think rightly so, many of them wonderful, competent, excellent, intelligent, top of their class people. I'm not doubting any of that. Absolutely. And the institutions that are giving them this access tend to be those institutions. So if Black men tend to become more independent and separate themselves from those institutions, the question is, will they leave Black women behind? And also, even if they want to take us, can we grab their hand and go?